Hey friends, how are you? Good to see you. Happy Monday. So, want to jump on this afternoon, say hello, see how you're doing. And as you're joining me, as always, say hi, say you're on Team Live. Love to hear from you. Or if you're watching this recorded as a replay, let me know, comment below, Team Replay. So there's a lot of new faces in here, which I absolutely love to see. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm Jennie. I'm a dietitian and a nutrition coach. And I'm working mostly with women to ditch this mentality of the all or nothing mindset that so many of us suffer from in achieving long-term health and weight loss goals. So we are focusing on a lot of habit and behavior-based changes. This is really the foundation of what I'm working on with people because it's so related in changing our overall wellness, as nutrition is a huge component with this as well. So today I was asking you below, like, what are the things that you're focusing on this week? And so often we are focusing on changing an outcome, right? Like we have a weight loss focus or we want to achieve a certain goal in the future. And it's so important that we have that vision of where we're going, but we have to focus on our behaviors and our habits that we have each day that are going to allow us to achieve that ultimate outcome. So I wanted to talk today about habits and behavior change and really how this looks and how we develop habits in our day-to-day lives, because so many things that we do is habitual, meaning it's subconscious, and we don't really think about it. It's just like natural, it's second nature. This can be positive. We can have positive habits that we do that are goal supportive, and we have other habits that we do that are limiting us from moving forward to be where we want to be in any aspect of our lives. So there's really 4 phases of how habits and behaviors form. The first one is there's a cue. So this is a trigger, and this is related to our senses. It could be a smell. It could be something that we hear, something that we see, something that we're touching, a memory. So this is the cue that initiates the first piece here. And then there's a craving. So this is like the overwhelming desire or the motivation behind this habit. And it's about wanting the reward. And then there is a response that happens. And this is the actual habit or the routine as a response to the craving that we have. And then the last piece here is the reward. And this is basically solving the problem, and it's satisfying us in some way, shape, or form. So once you can really create awareness around your habits, this is where we can start to track it back to what's the feeling that I'm having, what is the habit that I'm choosing to create the desired outcome here, right? So, and this really we have to like peel back the layers a lot and talk through this. And this is really what I'm working through with my clients around various pieces of their lives. So for example, I'll use myself as an example because I'm human and there's so many things in my life that I'm working through on a day-to-day basis, and also a lot of things that I'm really proud that I've worked through in the past. And I'm a human too, right? So we have feelings as humans, and it's how we manage things. So lately I've been focusing on drinking alcohol at night and changing this behavior because I know that choosing to have more than a few drinks a night isn't benefiting me and the person that I want to be, right? So it's also like where we're coming from when we're choosing this behavior. And I know for me, years ago, that I was definitely drinking like bourbon and very strong alcohol as a coping mechanism to numb out, check out, for sure. And what will happen sometimes is we'll replace that drink with like another drink. And so it's maybe like not the healthiest habit, right, that we've replaced it with, but it's still focusing on replacing that habit we have to do versus just stopping. And this is where I hear people, so many people getting frustrated because they're like, I have to stop doing this. I have to stop ordering out every night. I have to stop drinking alcohol. I have to stop eating sugar. And it's just not helpful, right? There's no awareness. There's no self-awareness around like why we are choosing this behavior on a day-to-day basis. So for me, again, breaking this down, Q is the trigger. So I know at the end of the day that maybe my husband's pouring a glass of wine, or I just know I walk downstairs and we're getting ready for dinner and I'll just pour a glass of wine or something like that. Or at the end of the day, it's kind of that transition point. So it can look a lot of different ways. The desire is for myself, I know that it's wanting to kind of check out, right? And kind of just slow down. For me, I'm a very task-oriented person. I like to constantly be doing, achieving, and this can be positive or it can be a barrier. So for me, it's hard to turn it off. So I know that if I have a drink, I'm not as witty. I can't sit down and read a book. I'm not focused. So I know that I'm not going to be able to do any work after that point. So again, this is all self-awareness. It's not that you're a bad person or that you're a good person. It's just, okay, this is a habit that I have on a day-to-day basis, and here's how I can improve that. So that's the cue. And then I also noticed Chris and I used to built a house a few years ago that we're renting, and we had this wine rack on the wall, and that was right in our kitchen. So for me, that was also a trigger because I would see the wine in the kitchen every day at night. So it was harder to say, no, this is not what I'm choosing to do because it's visually there, right? It's the same thing with having brownies in the middle of the kitchen table. We have a limited amount of willpower, right? If we were walking past the brownies every single day and we're saying, nope, I don't need that right now. It's not going to make me feel good. But we're walking past it 10 times a day, willpower runs out. It's like a muscle. It gets tired after making decisions constantly during the day. So there will be a point after the 10th time you walk by that you're going to have the brownie. It's not that you're bad. Have a brownie if you want it. It's not the point. But it's just coming from the place of is this really benefiting me and the person that I want to become and the goals that I have? So the response here is the habit or the routine. That's a response to the craving that we have. So for me, again, trigger, having a drink. Response is pouring a glass of wine or whatever it is. The reward, we're always solving a problem. So for me, it's kind of, chilling out, relaxing, transitioning to the end of the day. It's satisfying that take a deep breath, right? So now I have awareness around this, the feeling that I'm looking for, the habit, and the desired outcome. The feeling is going to be there, okay? So that's not something we can change, but we can replace the habit and the routine around this to still get the same required outcome or reward or solving that problem. So for me, I have been trying to replace this drink with another beverage. So whether it was I was doing diet tonic because I like that flavor, or a cup of tea, or a seltzer and pouring that into a wine glass because it was the act of pouring that. So there's so many different ways that we can replace this habit to get the same reward. Also knowing that it's needing that release and that transition. So I've been using a weighted blanket, and this is very grounding and weighted, or just snuggling with my dog, or talking with my husband. Or I noticed too that if I'm overly tired at the end of the day, I'll continue to make poor choices and I really just need to go to bed. So this is something I've been going to bed earlier. And I know for me, I do things 10 times faster first thing in the morning. I can accomplish tasks so much faster right in the morning. And that's just knowing myself. Everybody's different and what works for them. So for me, I know that I just need to go to bed. I'll wake up in the morning, feel so much better, and accomplish XYZ that I still need to do tonight. Again, this is just self-awareness. So another example here for this is, say that you are driving to work every day and you go past Dunkin' Donuts and you get a bagel, cream cheese, and a coffee every single day on your way to work. So here, the cue is actually probably going to be that you see Dunkin' Donuts on your drive. So that's the visual cue. The craving is that you're actually hungry for breakfast. The response is that you drive into Dunkin' Donuts, go through the drive-thru, get your breakfast, and the reward is that, okay, I ate something, I feel satisfied, I have some energy, right? And I'm ready to move on. So this is a really common example. So very simply here, a couple of things we could do. Maybe change the route that you're driving to work so you're not constantly going past Dunkin' Donuts. Or we could pack breakfast in the morning and have something that's going to make you feel better during the day to help you achieve your goals. So that way, maybe that's driving in the car and eating that if that's what feels good for you, or packing that with you and bringing it to work and having that with you there. So there's a couple of ways that we can change this routine of having that option, and you're still satisfying the hunger because that was the problem that we're solving there. Does this make sense? Am I making sense? I feel like there's a lot of examples here that I'm working through with people, and it's just really cool to break down, because as humans, like, we're just so interesting, like, as to why we do the things that we do. But once again, we understand ourselves, then we can make some of these positive changes forward. Another quick example I'll say before I move on, like, say in the morning that you come downstairs and you always drink a soda before you do anything else. So the cue here is maybe that you open the fridge and you see the red can of soda there, and that's the cue. The craving is that you're actually needing energy because you just woke up. So the response is to open the soda and drink that. You feel better. The reward is that you're satisfying maybe energy because you're getting it from the caffeine, but it's temporary, right? It's actually not solving the true problem. So maybe what we need to do here is not have the soda in the refrigerator there, replace it with a bottle of water. So that way when you come downstairs, you open the fridge, you have the water, and then you're having breakfast, because actually you're probably hungry and you're using caffeine as a replacement for hunger. So that's going to change the habit there of replacing the soda with water and breakfast, and you're satisfying hunger and energy and feeling better with sustained energy. Does this resonate with you? Give me a heart if this is helpful, because this is just, there's so many examples that I can think of how this affects us in our day-to-day lives. And honestly, it's usually always not the food, it's not the alcohol, it's the feeling. It's the feeling that we're looking for. And it's okay to have these feelings. You're not a bad person. We're humans, but we can't always make these things go away. So it's really how we manage these feelings and emotions in a positive way that we can be the person that we want to be, right? Because if we have goals for ourselves and we want to show up better, we have to change some of the habits that we have. So to wrap up here, I just want to focus on how to develop positive habits and how to replace less healthy habits. So the first thing you want to do when creating a positive habit is make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, okay? And then to replace a less healthy habit, we have to make it invisible, we have to make it unattractive, we have to make it difficult, and we have to make it unsatisfying. So for this example, I'm going to use the Dunkin' Donuts example, driving to Dunkin' Donuts on the way to work. So we want to replace the less healthy habit. So we're going to change the route that we're driving in the morning, making it unattractive. I don't know, that one's hard. Making it difficult, so you would have to drive farther away to get there. And you know that you're not going to feel as good when you have that breakfast. So now to replace it with a positive one, we want to make it obvious. So we're going to pack ourselves a satisfying breakfast. It's going to be delicious and something that we enjoy. It's going to be easy because it's ready to go in the morning and we can grab it, and it's satisfying because we're actually just hungry in the morning and we need something easy and simple. So there's a lot of ways that we can break that down. So I hope that was helpful. I feel like I went on a lot of different directions with that. Story of my life. So glad you're breaking this down for us. Good. I'm so glad it's helpful. This is so common that each of us have different things that we're struggling with, and it takes time to really understand this. The biggest takeaway is self-awareness. Once you're aware of your tendencies and what you're doing of this process, then we can replace that with something different to give us the same desired outcome. So I hope you guys have a great Monday. I'm going to be talking more about this on my weekly email. So if you're not on my email list, drop your email below and I'll add you to that as well. So I'm just here to add value and support you guys to just show up as the best version of yourselves. I hope that was helpful. Team Live, let me know. Gabriella, hello. Talking to you tonight. Carrie, what's up? Mariah, hi. Good to see you guys. I hope you have a great afternoon. Enjoy the sunset, the sunshine, and we'll talk soon.